Alright, this is the promised chili video. I am dicing onions down here. I'm going to dice onions and bell peppers and saute them in a little bit of oil until the onions are translucent.
Go. Okay, a little bit of oil in the pan there before you saute everything.
Just barely enough to coat. And one of these pans is a great investment. I think we spent about $14 on this one at Ross, and actually had a gift card, so it didn't even cost that. Alright, see here the onions and all are starting to get a little bit translucent. We'll keep cooking. Gonna add the meat.
How much meat is that?
Is about 2.5 pounds of ground beef. It's one of the cheaper meats you can get.
Decently defrosted.
Yeah, but the rest will kind of defrost while it's down in there. It doesn't matter. Just make sure as you cook it, you kind of bust it up so you don't have one big hamburger in the middle.
Okay, the next thing we're going to add, we got peeled tomatoes, and we got 5 cans of those.
They're 28-ounce cans. Now you can get diced tomatoes if you want to, but I like to cut them up myself into bigger chunks than what you get in a can of diced tomatoes. And frankly, I think these taste better and less processed too.
And did we mention a whole lot cheaper?
Yes, they're less processed, so they're cheaper. That's generally how it goes.
Now you don't have to buy name brand beans either. We have, like, I do believe 2 cans of each different kinds of beans. We have red beans, we have black beans, and we have, if I can find them, oh yes, pintos.
Now you can use pretty much any kind of bean you want to. I just happen to like these 3 for chili. I don't know, gives it color.
You know, do stay away though from those pre-seasoned chili beans though, because they taste funky.
They really are funky.
And the last thing that we're going to really put in here is a can of tomato paste.
That thickens it up to chili consistently instead of tomato soup with meat and beans.
Something the peeled tomatoes does not do. And make sure the tomato paste comes in 2 different size cans. Get the large 12 ounce size instead of that little bitty one, because it's just, especially if you're working with a pan this size, it's not near enough.
It doesn't do a blasted thing.
And I might mention, while you're cooking chili, you might as well go ahead and do a huge pot, because you can put it in the fridge and heat it up in bowls, and it's like, you know, a pot about this size, guys, lets us eat for about a week on it.
Pretty much. Or if you want to vary it up a bit, what you can do is, if you have freezer containers, put these in freezer containers into the freezer, and then a couple weeks down the road you say, hey, we got home from work, tired, don't want to cook, but don't want to spend the money on eating out. Hey, we got chili. Easy. Alright, the beef has finished cooking. You can see it's crumbled up pretty fine. And another thing you can do, you get to this stage, drain off that grease, add a little barbecue sauce, and you've got some really great sloppy joes.
2 recipes for 1.
Alright, what I'm going to do now is start adding tomatoes. We've got the cans open here. I'm going to pour the juice out into the beef. I'm going to get rid of that fan there. I had some serious steam going a few minutes ago. Let the can open. And one thing to keep juice from running all down your cutting board, I kind of like to slit it before I take it completely out of the can. See, all that would have been running off your cutting board and onto the counter. And basically, just kind of cut it this way and this way, and give it a pretty big dice, because I like big chunks of tomato in my chili. Kind of looks time consuming, but you know, you get in a rhythm and next thing you know, you've gone through all your tomatoes. It's not that bad, really. Alright, I probably worked about 45 seconds cutting up all the tomatoes in that can. Not bad. I've accumulated a lot of juice in the bottom of that, and we don't want to lose it. So in it goes.
Even more tomato goodness flavor.
Oh, don't lose anything. Alright, I'm going to do the rest of my tomatoes. Okay, got the tomato paste ready. You see all my tomatoes are chopped up. All the juice is in the pot. Pot's getting kind of full now. Looking good.
No water required.
You see how thick that stuff is. Really, all it is tomatoes. De-seeded, peeled, boiled down, 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 down. So most of the water content is gone. That's why it thickens up things like chili and spaghetti sauce so well. Pardon the clatter in the background. Stir that in real quick. Kind of dissolve in there as it sits. I'm going to drain my beans out, and then just kind of, at this point, it's just open and dump. You gotta love it. Okay, time to add the spices in. Got a new thing of parsley here. Get a little pile of green on the top there. It's not rocket science. It's spices. Some cilantro leaves. Get another little pile over here. Not quite as big as the parsley. That works. Crushed red pepper flakes. This is the same kind of stuff you sprinkle on top of your pizza. I like a little bit of kick in my chili. I normally put a little bit of cumin in there, but don't have cumin today. That's okay. It'll still be good. Chili powder. Apply liberally. And I'm not kidding. What I have here is roasted garlic pepper. If you don't have this around, you can use garlic powder, mince up some garlic, and use some black pepper. I just really happen to love this stuff, and it smells wonderful. Definitely want that garlic and black pepper flavor in there. A little something I add, it's a little Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. You can use this on about anything. And just a hint of this, because you don't want a whole lot of Creole flavor, but I do like the seasonings that are in here. This is more Texas than Louisiana. And then some kosher salt. I will use this over iodized salt any day, because the iodized salt has almost a metallic taste to it. I mean, I even use this to sprinkle on my food instead of a shaker full of salt. And one thing I learned there, is you see I buy a lot of off-brands. I bought some off-brand of kosher salt, and it came out looking like pretzel salt. So, not a good idea. You see the darker color now? That's from the chili powder. That's what you want. About that color. And later, you'll taste it and see what you want to add. I often find I need to add more chili powder. We shall see. But now, you just kind of chill out, let it simmer, come in and stir every few minutes. And pretty soon you'll have chili.